part, but
Sure,
like
sure.
no one's looking at it until Monday, but at least I've done my part.
Yeah.
So I know if we send it out on Monday, but I'd like to
You're
do
the
that.
reason my email box is filled on Monday.
I know we send things out after 5 on Fridays and.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So I think that's all I need. Tony sent me the loan.
Yeah, I have 3 resolutions,
Okay.
2 for Jewish Home and 1 for Eugenio, and we have the executive summary and secret.
So for the Jewish home things, we're just going to put the resolutions and there's not going to be anything. So I'll allude to that in the email. Barry will talk about what's happening with the Jewish home.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't.
not going to write anything up on it.
No, I mean, you could include the one, like, there's 2 letters, you can include them if you want to, but the requests, I guess.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Call this meeting to order.
Sure.
Let us review the minutes from May 8th.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I am so sorry.
I'll move it.
Sorry. Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor? There's a retained program request that is in our packet here.
Yep.
Yeah, Anna can sort of
Yeah.
do this, but I just wanted to say before we look at this right here, the retained program, we might be aware of it a little bit. And I think this is this gonna be through ROC?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Is this the proposal that is gonna be facilitated by ROC 20?
Campus Rock and Rock
Campus Rock?
2025, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And I can tee that up if you'd like, Penny. So as you all know, the retained program was established 2 years ago now. I think it was in May of 2022 that we made the announcement officially that it was going to be a pilot program established through the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation. It had been something that the county executive was keen to get off the ground, and we set aside $100,000 as part of that pilot program and set up some internal institutional infrastructure around it. It's been a good program where there's been a lot of demand, but it's difficult for the county government infrastructure to sort of administer it. And during that period, during the same period, ROC 2025 and the Chamber of Commerce has really grown the Campus ROC ecosystem through the Chamber's Talent Strategy Division. And Barb Eganhofer is the Director of Talent Strategy for the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. Campus ROC falls within her portfolio. Throughout the pilot phase of Retain, we've worked really closely with Barb and her team on brainstorming and ideation around what can make Retain better. I think we've done 12.
She did what she wanted to computer to
Oh,
pull
thank
up
you.
the exact.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
for you.
think at my last check, we had done 12 individuals have gone through the program or have been approved by the program. It's a $2,000 retention grant for a graduate from a local college or university who opts to stay in Monroe County after graduation and work here in one of a few select industries. Working with Campus ROC, obviously cost of living has gone up. You know, it would be a lot better if we could go from $2,000 to $4,000, and it would be great for the County Economic Development Division if we can work with a community partner to make sure that this program is getting out in front of the right audiences. And Campus ROC has really built a strong nexus of relationships at the relationship between college campuses locally and significant area employers. So, and then also, as you're probably aware, in 2022, COMIDA established a workforce development fund. COMIDA has a lot of resources at its disposal. We as a team came together to brainstorm how can we grow the size of the program without putting too much weight on MCIDC financially, because MCIDC's revenue streams are less predictable than COMIDA's. So that being said, this proposal that you have in front of you today, which I'm going to have Barb speak to in just a minute, it's also reflective of an item that's going to be on COMIDA's agenda on June 18th, where we're going to be asking COMIDA to allocate an additional $100,000 to Retain through that workforce development program, workforce development fund, such that it goes from being a $100,000 MCIDC pilot program to being a $200,000 plus program sponsored by or funded by COMIDA and MCIDC, but administered by
Where do you get the other
Campus Rock.
$34,000?
From Comida, excuse me.
It'll be
So it's
135.
$135,000 from Comida, $100,000 from
This is
MCIDC.
$2,000 per person?
We're going from 2,000 to 4,000, which is per the recommendation of our friends at Campus Rock, because they're working all the time with young graduates, and $2,000 is a significant amount of money, but with how much everything has gotten more expensive, and even just the last year and a half, 2 years, $4,000 might go a longer distance. So with that, you have the support application in front of you. Barb is here, and I don't want to give this further ado. So Barb, can I ask you to speak to what's in the board members packet?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
I don't know if you want me to stand.
You can,
or
yeah, whatever you
sit
feel
or-
comfortable. You can sit
Okay.
at the table, sure.
I don't want to be like super
Yeah,
humble.
yeah.
But, yeah, so thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much for having me. So, yeah, I started up the talent strategy function about 4 years ago. So we are hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, funded by ROC 2025. So that's kind of how that works. And everything that we do is all about how do we attract new talent into the region, how do we retain the talent that we have, and then how do we connect that talent to employment. So I think about that as like the three legs of our stool. So all of the programs that we roll out are specific to one of those core mission statements. So we have a couple of different programs. We launched a Greater Rock Careers, which if you're ever looking for help, it's a great place. It's a free job board that consolidates all of the positions in the area. And we've got, oh gosh, at any given time, about 7,000 jobs on there. We launched a Veterans Connect program where we recruit veterans specifically from Fort Drum to come into the area. And then we have a Greater Rock Relocate program that is focused on bringing the talent in. And then we launched Campus Rock. And Campus Rock is really all about how do we connect with our students here? How do we get them to think about staying in the greater Rochester region upon graduation? So right now we partner with the 19 colleges and universities. There is about 75,000 students that graduate every year, and we currently only retain about 1/3 of them. So the whole idea behind Campus Rock is how do we retain more of these students, right? Because 1/3 is not nearly enough, and especially with so many openings that we have, we need to find ways to engage them, get them to fall in love with Rochester, and get them to realize that they don't have to leave to start their careers. Like, they can have a great career right here. So everything we do is all with that idea in mind. So, so some of the things that we currently do is we've interacted right to date with about 50,000 of those students. We have placed over 200 students in internships and in full-time positions. We have a very active social media following. We've got about 2,500 students that follow us. We've hosted about 30 special events, and we've got about 50 on-campus presence. So we go on campus, especially August, September, when all the students are coming back. We introduce them to Campus Rock and get them engaged in all of the things that we do. Again, with the idea that fall in love, stay here, and build your career here. So when we looked at this program, I know you've seen the deck and you've got the details, but I guess some of the key things, and Anna teed it up for me very well, is we looked at the program and we said, what can we do to help make this really successful and to broaden the scope of the program? So we felt like there was a couple of things that we could do. One was moving the application process and the ownership from the employer to the student, the new employee, right? Because we feel like they're going to be much more apt to follow through on getting $4,000, right? That means a lot more for them since it's going in their pocket. We want to increase that grant amount, as Anna mentioned, right? Because 2,000 is great, but 4,000 I think really gets people's attention, right? It can really make a difference. We want to not only give them the money and say, thank you so much, but our whole focus is really trying to retain them for the long term. So a lot of what we're proposing is putting an infrastructure that does exactly that. So we want to have events for them. We want them to become part of like a special cohort. We want to connect them to one another. We want to be able to have like a special weekend for them in the fall where we can like invite their parents, right? Because the idea is this is going to be like a special thing to be into this program. It's not a just everybody gets into it, right? We want to establish some strong criteria, make sure that the people we're bringing into this program are those that are in these industries that we need. They're in a great job. They're, giving back to the community. They do community service. Like they really want to connect and become part of our fabric. So we want to have these special events. We want to connect them with mentorship. We want to connect them to further development and do some special programming for them. And we also think that, year over year, our idea is to build a cohort. So if you're in year one, the next year, you're a mentor for the new ones coming in year two. So those are some of the things that we want to change and about the program, and then the rest, I think, the details are in the deck that you have seen. So I'll stop talking and.
So Barbara, what is the length of a program to qualify for the program?
It's for 1 year.
1 year?
Yep.
Okay. And in that 1 year's time, in order to get the full-grant, we're hoping, or is it mandatory that they're engaged in the programming?
Yeah.
Do you get it upon completion, or what?
Yes. Yep. You get it upon completion, and yes, our expectation is that you will be engaging with us. Coming to these events. I mean, we don't expect everybody to make every single one, but that's really part of wanting to have this program that we think will be successful is to engage them at a deeper level. So yes, there is expectation there. I always say hope is not a strategy, so I really go more for, hey, these are the expectations and making sure that the people that we're bringing into this program are committed.
The 2/3 of the people that are leaving, like why are they, do we know why they're leaving?
We do. There's all sorts of reasons. The majority of them we have a very large international student population here, right? So there's some concerns around that, right? Where they feel like if they haven't been able to get sponsorship or, then that's a big piece of some of that. I actually am launching another program this year that's going to focus on recruitment and retention of internationals workers. So yeah, I'm excited about that. That'll have a big impact. But a lot of them really feel like they just don't see Rochester as a place to stay. Like they don't see like there's as many opportunities, and they feel like they have to go to New York or Chicago or Boston, right? So they tend to leave us for bigger cities. So that's why we focus at Campus Rock on really getting them like downtown, getting them to experience, getting them out and about, like falling in love with the city, not just like, okay, get them off campus and like into our community.
What campuses are you working with?
So we work with, there's 19 colleges and universities in the area. We have 10 that really strongly work with us. So there's some of that 19 includes like the seminary school, some of those other like specialty colleges and universities. They don't engage with us as much as like RIT, U of R, St. John Fisher, Nazareth, Brockport. They are really actively working with us. MCC.
Well, it sounds like a good program. I mean, we've invested in it before. And this is a partnership with Cometa. And we'd like to use these funds to retain young people here in Rochester. I think it's all a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think this will give us an opportunity to really add horsepower to what is a great program in concept and take advantage of something that Barb and her team have built into a very successful, I used the term ecosystem earlier, because you've cultivated these relationships and you know exactly who to talk to. We've had, as Barb pointed out, we've had a hard time getting we promote this program when we're meeting with businesses as an incentive to recruit and retain talent, but the businesses don't necessarily have the direct incentive to want to go after the $2,000. So I mentioned, and Allison maybe confirm that this is right or wrong, that we've only had
13
13
total
total,
applicants. And
yeah.
then 8 had actually gone through and we paid them out, and then the rest are waiting
Yeah.
to complete the year.
So not a huge uptake from, yes. So not a huge uptake, but we think that by taking the dollars that we've committed in our budget to retain and entrusting them to a community partner like the Chamber, Campus Rock, and then also being able to join forces with Comida and the resources that they can bring to bear, this will actually make more of a dent in that 2/3 issue. You know, we'll be able to actually retain a measurable larger percentage of graduates.
Any more questions for Barb?
Can I ask you a question? Even though I'm not Barb, can you just comment, like, this is great, but like how this factors in with where we are today, where it's June,
Yeah.
and you're seeking approval, and what does this change anything or affect anything, or how do you see it going this year?
Yeah, it's funny because I just hired a brand new program manager for Campus Rock. So yeah, when she saw this, I was like, guess what? If it gets approved, guess what your top priority is? Which is great. I mean, we're a little bit behind, but I think that what that will mean is, you know, once we get the approval, like, I think we need to just hit the marketing piece really hard, right? Because, you know, students, there's still a number of students that, you know, have either found employment already. So I think it's just going to mean like a shortened, condensed timeline, but I want to try to keep to this as much as we can, like other than moving the first bucket, right? Because we won't be able to start in May, but I think everything else, I'm really hoping that we can stick to it because it fits with the cadence of the school schedule. Mm-hmm. So I think for us, it just means like we're gonna have to utilize the, you know, you saw some money in there for like the marketing dollars. I think we're gonna have to hit that really hard to try to get the word out. And the good thing is that we, like as I mentioned, we have such a great, strong connection already with the campuses and with all of our social media. I feel like once we put it out to social media and students see it, I think we're gonna be just fine.
Are you targeting seniors?
We do target, we target
seniors. And in the fall, they'll be seniors. Okay.
Yeah, targeting seniors, and you know, for this year, like recent graduates, right, that we can hit up for this year and get them into the program. True. Yeah.
Well, I certainly like the concept, but as someone who has hired 2 engineers from this region in the last couple of months for projects that I've had, you may want to consider moving it back to maybe April because it's so close to graduation time. I had to find those individuals in February and March because I think one of the engineers told me that it provided him less stress and relief for himself when he knew what he had the opportunity to have and do before graduation. And I think in this window that you have, the May to July, it's right in that moment. There's so much going on for them. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
You know, just consider it because I had to search in January and then land them, and I landed one in April and I landed one in late March.
Okay.
And I know that they wouldn't have been here around this window.
Oh, yeah, good point.
They wouldn't have been there. So
Yeah.
just some thought.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Especially with engineering talent, there's a lot of demand for that, right?
Yeah, so high demand. Yeah.
Do you guys work with Alfred?
We do some work with them. They have engaged with us, even though they are outside of our scope, right? They're outside of the 9 county, but they actually have been, heard about Campus Rock, and they actually have engaged with us, and they come to our events. And so even though they're technically outside, we don't ever say no.
Great opportunity because they have just tremendous talent.
Great.
So just.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Bob?
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Of course.
Thank you very much, Barb.
Yeah,
It's
it's
nice
my
to see you.
pleasure. See you at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So the Camp Hard had a program request?
Yes.
You know that?
And I'm excited that Kim Gaylord is with us. Kim is the executive director of the Greater Rochester Builders Exchange or the Builders Exchange of Rochester. I'm used to always just calling it ROBEX, the acronym. Camp Hard Hats has been a ROBEX initiative for over 10 years now.
Well, I can come up and talk. Do you want-
Yeah, come on up. It's a great initiative. The county executive had met with Kim about this and asked me to consider entertaining support by way of MCIDC. It's a perfect fit with some of the other programs that we support as a board. So with that, I'll let Kim take the reins.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Mhm.
Camp Hard Hat was actually started 10 years ago in Wyoming County and Genesee County as 2 week-long day camps from 9 to 3 for kids ages 12 to 15 to learn about construction. 2 years ago, someone from those counties came to me at the Builders Exchange and said, you have a workforce development initiative. The trades have a need for people. Would you be interested in getting behind this initiative as we want to expand the camp from 2 camps to 7 camps? And I said, absolutely. So at the beginning of 2023, I started it as its own 501c3 at the state level. We're actually going to go after federal funding for a 501c3. So last year it expanded to 7 camps, 5 in Monroe County. So Lollipop Farm, Genesee Country Museum, the MCC Forward Center, Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp. And last year it was at BOCES 2 in Spencerport. This year it's moving to Homesteads for Hope right around the corner. And the students that go to these camps, there are a max of 30 kids per camp, so 210 kids. They are taught by 2 to 3 BOCES instructors, and they are actually using power tools and things. They're not just building bat houses and bird houses, things like that. If you were to go to the new Junior Achievement Discovery Center up in Kodak Park, last year at the Forward Center, they built benches, and I should have sent pictures, I didn't think about it, I can get it over to you. Massive benches with planters that are now used in the Junior Achievement Discovery Center. And then what happens is the kids get a plaque with their names on it to say, I participated in Camp Hard Hat. So they can go somewhere, whether it's a Lollipop Farm or they built enclosures for the dogs, and say, look, I built that. It gives them that sense of pride that everybody we know who's a contractor has. Every year, we start fundraising over and over again. The Builders Exchange does not make money on it. I consider this a workforce development initiative, but we do have expenses. All the kids walk away with tool belts, a hard hat, a helmet, like basic tool set, a square, a tape measure, things like that. Plus, we have food costs and instructor costs that we have every year. Again, we have 7 camps this year. We're already up to 130 students registered. At this point last year, we had 85. So it's growing in popularity. We have 3 camps totally sold out. And we do spread the word through the schools, through the mayor's office. He sends it out to all the the centers in the city. Boys and Girls Club is going to be a beneficiary this year from the Forward Center. They're building something for the Boys and Girls Club. So that's kind of why we sit here asking for, I think, $25,000 a year for 3 years. Our goal next year is to actually hire a part-time executive director. We did officially form a board. I'm the treasurer of the board. And one of the executive director of the organization is one of the co-instructors as well. So
how much is the ask?
$25,000 a year for 3 years.
Okay. So this is 3-year funding.
Is that the board action? Is it going to be one?
So we usually,
Whatever you tell me.
do that, but we usually have the people come back every year
Okay.
to give a
Yeah.
report, and then
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
board reapproves that. But
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll ask the board to approve
Yeah.
1 year and
Yep.
we'll go from there.
And this year we're hiring some, I don't want to call them counselors, they're more camp coordinators. We partnered with ACE Mentorship, if any of you are familiar with the ACE Mentorship program. It's an architecture, construction, engineering program that juniors, high schoolers can go through to learn about construction. They build something, and we have 3 seniors coming on board for the summer that are going to be like our camp coordinators or the on-site parent contact. If anything happens, they go through them. So what it makes me excited about it is we're a nonprofit as Camp Hard Hat, and we're helping nonprofits be successful. So it's a unique program.
What is the liability for the power tools?
It's covered we covered under the Builders Exchange liability policy. I've worked with our insurance broker on that. There's nothing around that right now. It's all covered under our liability policy.
Isn't ACE in partnership with Pathfinders?
We haven't done anything with Pathfinders. I mean,
I've heard of ACE.
yeah, ACE has been around for it's a national program. It's a great program. And we just said, well, they probably have graduating seniors that might want to earn some extra income over the summer. How about you guys want to be camp counselors, camp coordinators for us? So.
I thought it was part of Pathfinders because they do something as well. So
And this money goes for food?
It goes to help cover
counselors?
expenses for teachers and we are paying BOCES teachers full benefits, full salaries and benefits.
What's your full budget?
I've included it in the sheet. It's each camp runs, I think. I didn't bring myself a copy.
Oh, that's all right.
Just under 10.
Just under 10. Each camp's around $10,000.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then we are hoping to go out to schools and promote it more at different events. Our goal would be that in 2025 that we grow from 7 camps to 9 camps. I don't know where they would be yet. That gives me a little bit of agita. We've talked about going east into potentially Wayne County or going west. We don't know, but we have to identify the ideal site, and we've kind of narrowed it down to the ones we have in Monroe County. They're great partners, like the Genesee Country Museum. They've been working on a project at the baseball field, and if you think about them, they're a nonprofit that needs this help, and the kids have a blast at this camp.
Well,
So
where we're at is that we can only do 1 year at a
that's
time.
fine. I
And
respect that.
so we promise that we'll listen to you again next year.
That's fine. I appreciate that. I look forward to being back here next year.
We look forward to having it.
Any
more
other
camps?
questions?
Yeah, maybe next year I'll have 9 camps.
That's right.
Gives me a little, like I said, agita, but
You might have to even ask for a little more. Who knows?
honestly,
And
I think this has legs that it could grow even bigger, and that's one of the reasons. There's no summer camps like it that kids are actually learning and using their hands. And what we're seeing this year is a repeat of kids who might have been 13, 14 come last year. They're coming back this year, and they're bringing their siblings because they've had so much fun.
How does the transportation work?
It's on that parents have to provide the transportation. Ideally, maybe in the future, if we have enough funding, we can bus kids. That's why we picked the Forward Center as a location, because we felt that it would be central. 2 years ago, we had camps at Virtus and then UPrep. And the schools didn't work out well. We needed like a central location, and that's how the Forward Center came about.
I think it's a great program.
And by way of background too, just so that everyone is aware, we work closely as a team at the staff level with Kim, because the Builders Exchange works with COMITA on the vetting and implementation of the local labor policy. So this program, among many other programs and relationships that Robex maintains, this relates back to growing the construction workforce and cultivating a talent pipeline for the construction workforce for the future. So
Actually, Joe Morelli and I've talked about kids could go to Camp Hard Hat, then end up in the BOCES program, or then end up in the tracks program and move into a career. Like we've literally mapped out the career path kids could take in this. So, any other questions?
pretty cool.
Unique. So,
Okay, we'll be getting back with you.
yeah, that's fine.
thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Grab a sandwich on your way out. I think we're gonna have more.
We would have that. I gotta pick her brain on some
Okay,
topic.
So, the retained program, first we need a motion, so we can take this back to the board.
So the motion is to recommend the full board.
Recommend to the full board, $100,000 funding for retained, and that it is in partnership with COMITA, and the program will be explained at the board.
Yeah.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Camp Hard Hat, I think this is a more simpler one here. Sounds like a very, very good program, so we need a motion also on that.
I'll move it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So both of these will go back to the board, and maybe you could put language in it that we highly recommended it.
Heck.
I'd give Hard Hat more money.
I know.
Yeah.
If she needs more money, I'd be
Yeah, we
okay
could
with
do
that.
that.
Yeah,
Every year
I would
thing.
too, but let her come every year.
Right.
So make that request. Is there any other business?
No. We appreciate everyone's time.
We have some bonds coming up, right?
Yeah, the St. John Fisher transaction mailed their offering document yesterday. They could price the bonds as early as next week. And then they would look to close potentially by the end of the month. And the charter school transaction for Eugenio is on the agenda for the board meeting next week.
Where is Eugenio going to, are they going to expand at the location that they're at?
Joseph Avenue.
Is it Joseph?
So they have a couple of facilities, including some that they lease.
Okay.
But yeah, they bought a facility. The bond financing is going to be the facility they bought on Joseph Avenue,
Oh, okay.
and that's where I think they're going to build their gym as well.
The school has grown.
Yeah.
As a charter school. It's
And speaking of which, Barry helped us coordinate. We had hosted an info session with some other charter school partners in light of the Eugenio project and the other charter school projects that we've done. We brought in some charter school partners to talk about what can MCIDC do for them as they look to expand, because there's a lot of demand for charter school slots, but there's not a lot of actual physical space. So a lot of these programs, the schools themselves are looking for.
We got a lot of empty schools. I don't know why we can't use them.
I know. Yeah, that's a political
We met with
football.
one yesterday.
Yeah.
Is looking
Marshall High
for,
School over there on Ridgeway is just sitting there.
School 25 is out right now for like RFP from the city.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. That did come up during that info session, and I was like, unfortunately, we can't solve that problem, but if you need tax exempt bond financing, we're here for you.
Right.
We're here to assist on that process.
So everybody's good, right?
Very good.
All right. Summer has started.
Maybe officially.
Yes, if we can get a motion.